Welcome to Democracy Truth, a podcast about elections in Arizona. I'm Suzanne from the League of Women Voters of Arizona, and here today is Emra, my co-host, an independent voter who is also a League of Women Voters member. With independent voters now the largest registration block in Arizona, Emra is going to help explain what that means when it comes time to vote. Thanks for joining us. While we are going to primarily use the term independent voters in this podcast, would you share with us other names Arizonans use to describe this group?
Sure. When I filled out my voter registration form, I checked the party preference box for none or no party. Some people also call us unaffiliated voters.
So what does it mean to be an independent, none or no party, unaffiliated voter?
Essentially, it means I haven't registered with any political party. I don't label myself a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, no labels, or Green Party. Some people who are independents are tired of the major parties, while others just don't want to be labeled. Younger voters like me seem to prefer to be unaffiliated. In July of 2023, the Arizona Secretary of State office reported independent voters edged out Republicans to become the largest single group of voters in Arizona.
It's certainly become a popular option. Tell me, is it easy for independent voters to get ballots for elections?
There are some variations in the procedures independent voters need to follow, whether it's a statewide primary, the presidential preference election, or general election.
Let's examine each of these types of elections separately. This is what I know already. Primary elections are elections when voters choose the candidates they prefer for a political party to run in the general elections. Since independents don't belong to any political party, are you allowed to vote in this kind of election?
Of course, we are. As an independent, I don't belong to any political party. But in the upcoming primary election, I am allowed to vote on any of the certified parties' slate of candidates.
But you're independent. Do you even care who the parties choose in the primary election?
Absolutely. Sometimes the person who is elected into office is decided in the primary election. Let's say that the Republicans have three people in the primary running for state treasurer, and the Democrats don't have anyone. The Republican winner in the primary will become the next state treasurer.
So I hear you're saying that it's important for all voters to vote in primaries.
Definitely.
Tell me, do you, as an independent, need to do anything extra to vote in primary elections?
Yes. Before I go to vote, I need to decide which one political party ballot I want. Then I just tell the poll worker which ballot to give me. It's that easy. If an independent is signed up to get a mail-in ballot, your county recorder's office will actually mail you a card asking you to choose which party ballot they need to send you. Don't forget to return that card by their deadline so they have time to mail out your ballot.
Do those same rules apply for a presidential preference election, the election in which political parties run the elections to determine who will head their party's ticket for president?
Actually, it's stricter for the presidential preference election. Independents must actually change their registration status and join a party to vote in that kind of election. If I wish to help choose which Republican or Democratic candidate will run for president in this next presidential preference election, I'm going to fill out a new voter registration form and check either Republican or Democrat. I must submit it at least 29 days before the election. After the election, I can return to my unaffiliated status by filling out a new voter registration form. While there are the extra steps of filling out new voter registration forms, I can easily complete it all online on my county recorder's website if I wish.
When is the upcoming presidential preference election in Arizona?
This year, it's March 19th.
So, independents who want to vote in this presidential preference election actually have to become a Democrat or Republican. Why do you think this kind of election has a special party registration requirement?
Political parties want to limit voting only to their registered members when nominating presidential candidates.
Interesting. Now, let's discuss the final kind of election, general elections. Is there anything independent voters need to know about general elections?
I like voting in general elections. We don't have to do anything extra. You see, all voters in the same voting precinct get the same ballot. When we vote in general elections, we are collectively making the final decision for who will represent us in elected offices, such as state legislators, the President of the United States, the mayor, and the county attorney. We also are collectively deciding on propositions.
It sounds like democracy in action. Do you have any additional advice for independent voters?
I do. Voting laws do change, so it's important to stay up to date before elections. Vote411.org has a wealth of information on all things related to elections in Arizona. Your county recorder's website or office is also an excellent resource. Both can provide guidance on specifics for each election where we independents might need to take extra steps to get our voices heard.
Well, thank you, Emra, for breaking down what voters need to know about participating as unaffiliated voters here in Arizona. On behalf of the League of Women Voters Arizona, thanks for listening today. Please join us for the next episode of Democracy Truth. This podcast has been brought to you by the League of Women Voters of Arizona. We are a nonpartisan, grassroots civic organization encouraging informed and active government participation. We work to increase understanding of major public policy issues and influence public policy through education and advocacy. With over 100 years of experience, the League is one of America's oldest and most trusted civic nonprofit organizations.